All right, well, welcome to Media Day 2022. Excited to get this camp rolling. I think our kids are really excited. Appreciate you guys all being here today. Got a good crowd today, and we're excited. I know the Steelers are getting it cranked up there, so I appreciate you guys being here. We've got 110 guys in camp, which is what the NCAA allows us. But I think good information is that we used to be able to have more the last 2 years. In the COVID year, we were allowed more. And then, the year post-COVID, we were allowed to have more just because of possibly guys getting sick. So it's a little bit of a shock to go back to the old norm of 110, which I think is a crazy rule that the NCAA doesn't let us. They let us do a lot of different crazy things, but they won't let us bring guys that have worked their tail off in camp all summer and bring everybody in. So there's some disappointed guys that don't get to come to camp that have worked hard. So you always feel bad for those guys, and eventually we'll get them in here at some point. But NCAA rules. We got 17 seniors in camp, 3 grad transfers that we're excited about. And again, I think we got pretty good leadership when you look at it overall. And again, you gauge the leadership by what happened during the summer. And our kids did a nice job when the coaches aren't always here. We had a coach here every day, but there's still a lot of things that our kids put on their own plate and take care of things. So happy with the leadership at this point. We'll find out how it goes through the month of August. And look there. Coach Stack and his staff has done a great job. 4 assistant coaches down there. I mean, the summer has been as smooth as it's been. We are significantly stronger than we were a year ago. And I can go through some of the numbers, but I won't bore you with the numbers. But our numbers went up in the squat, the bench. We're fast. GPSs are fast. Run to 40. I think Brandon Hill, give you a quick fact, 4.3, 40. I think he was the fastest guy in a bunch of 4.4s out there, which, legit times and not guys time with their thumbs, real good scores there. So we're in shape, ready to go. Got through practice number 1 today, which you guys saw the first, 5 periods. And, was happy with where we are right now. I think, day 1, that's kind of, where you expect to be. You've got a lot of bad habits that we got to correct from, what they did by themselves out there, all summer. Just getting them to practice with tempo and the attitude that we want them to go. So we got plenty of practice to get that done. So with that, I'll just open it up for questions.
Name and affiliation, please. Questions?
Jim Hamm at PantherLair.com. I guess after coming off a championship, I think you guys always kind of had that good mindset, broke down with ACC champs before last season. What's the difference now that you guys actually accomplished it?
Really no difference. Like today, they change it up. I don't tell them what to do. They kind of do it. Today they broke down on champs. So I was kind of like, well, that's a good one because it could be anything, right? Again, I don't try to micromanage what they say. Sometimes they break down on family, ACC champs, and, but I'm always listening to what they're saying, what they're talking about, what they're feeling. And, coming off championship, it's in the past, and we're working on it. Nobody cares what happened last year. They really don't. Nobody in this room is going to care, coaches, staff, or media. So, we're just got to work on the next. And this is the 2022 team. It's a different team than, the 21 team. And, I think our kids got a good mindset about, what that means and what they have to do to be something different than what 2021 was.
Pat, you said a few weeks ago that the coaching staff is better this year than it was last year. What makes you say that?
Just feel good with where we are. And again, I think in every facet, okay, I think whatever we do, we keep getting better. Last year was good, great staff, but like there's always something, and in time will tell. But it's hard to hire people. First of all, it's hard. When Dave Andrews left and we got Coach Stack. Coach Stack and that staff have done an unbelievable job. It's like, whoa, we got better. How can we do that? Like I said, it's hard to hire people, but you take your time and you do it right. You can get just as good or better, and that's why I feel really good with this staff. I feel good with the communication. I feel good with what they're doing that's different than what we did in the past, which I think will help us win football games. What is that name again?
What does Keaton and Nick have to do over the next few weeks to be the guy that places here?
They got to go out and execute. They got to show what they did over the summer is something that's it's pushed him ahead of the other guy. It'll be interesting. It's going to, the most interesting thing. I think the Steelers got one of those going on. We got one of them going on. Pittsburgh is quarterback hotspot for as far as just competition going on. But I love it. But it's going to come down to what they're doing, and really I want the whole team to know who that guy is. I always say this: I don't care what position it is. If I have to make the decision, then we got issues. Okay, everybody should know, and when we make that decision, it's not like everybody's going, "Oh man, I thought it was the other guy." I don't want controversy. I want everybody to know that's the guy. So I'm hoping something comes fast, but we'll see how it goes. It's a day-by-day process.
Pat, Will Graves with the Associated Press. To that end, Mike T said the other day at camp, it's a marathon, not a sprint. At the same time, he's got, so far, it's, one guy's with the ones, one guy's with the twos, your former guys with the threes. How are you going to manage reps with those two guys? Are you going to let them swap running with the first team, or is there a delineated setup to start?
Kind of like we did in the spring, there'll be some rotation. They're both going to get reps with the ones. They're both going to get reps with the twos. We'll kind of see how it goes, and trying to find out who our third team quarterback is as well is a big a big thing that we want to get figured out this spring as well, which we didn't really have an opportunity in the spring to figure that one out. They're going to mix up reps, and we're going to just kind of see how they work with each group and what they do. So it makes it a little harder when you're not just going with the ones and with the twos. But we'll figure that out, and then as soon as we want to adjust it and say, hey, you're running with the ones until further notice, and we'll see how that goes too.
A month from today is your first game. When would you like to have that spot sort of figured out?
I would love to give you a date, Will, but I'm not going to give you a date because then you'll be like, hey, today's the day. I'd like to have it done before the opener. Put it that way. I mean, that's the only date I can give you. It might be 2 weeks, might be 3 weeks, might be, you might find out on game day. I don't know. I wish I could put a date on it, but I can't put a date on it. I wish I knew today.
Smith Thompson, SI.com. Are Keaton and Nick, are they different players, or are you just looking for one that kind of play better?
I think they're definitely different players. I mean, I think at every position we have, they all have something that they have. Maybe it's a little bit different. So they got a different style. They both lead a little bit different. One's been here, one hasn't been. So there's a lot of differences. And we're waiting to find out who plays better and what we need at that position as well.
Pat, where do you feel you are with the install of the offense with Frank, coming in versus, last year? You had the same quarterback, same offensive coordinator for a while. Now you've got a lot of things going on. How do you feel like you guys are taking on all the new things that are being added or being put on?
We had to install in the spring. We had to install this summer. And really, we're kind of going through the third time. I look at what we're doing day one compared to what we did day one in spring ball, and it's night and day as far as the concepts we've got in, the personnels that we have in. So, our kids have come a long way in the summer to get where they are today. And, I feel good. I mean, do you like the continuity? Yes. But, there's change, and change needed to be done. And I like where we are. Just like 3 years ago, we needed to have change. Right now, we need a change based on who we are as a football team right now compared to who we were a year ago.
Who are you?
We'll find out. But I think we'll be a little bit more balanced football team. We're going to still sling it around, like we do. We're still going to, but we've got to establish a little bit more of a run game at times. But we're also going to play, I've told you guys in the past, we're going to, do what the box dictates.
Pat, Jerry DePaul at Tribune Review. I quite identified myself the first time.
Still let it happen.
I read a ESPN survey today that said that 80% of college football players, administrators, and coaches believe NIL is going to turn into a black market kind of thing in recruiting. Do you feel your program was violated in any way by name, image, and likeness this offseason?
You tell me. I would say probably. And we all, talk about the elephant in the room. But, I don't think there's any question, at least, tempted with it one way or another. But there's no question about it. It's not a good thing, and hopefully they get it under control. But, we're moving on and working on the next. Thanks, Jerry.
How much did that loom over recruiting this summer, though? Like in June, when you have recruits coming to campus and their families, did that come up in conversation with recruits or families?
A few, but there's no looming. Everybody's got their opinion, and a lot of the opinions were the same as what we kind of thought. Like, why? So, but hey, we don't make those decisions. It's over with, and on to 22. I feel great with where we are.
Pat, if you had to recommend legislation or something, some sort of protection for universities to sort of, what would you do? I mean, how can you guys sort of try to negate something like that?
I mean, they've opened up the portal. They've opened up name, image, and likeness, and they're gonna have to shut the name, image, and likeness down. The portal's not gonna change, I don't think. They're gonna try to put some borders and stuff on it. Although a week ago, I think John, you told me they were talking about unlimited transfers. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. That would be crazy, because it's already wild and crazy. But I think it's just putting some borders on name, image, and likeness and what you actually can do and can't do. And I think you have to remove the boosters from the game. You have to remove them. I mean, for years and years and years, the boosters were eliminated. Now all of a sudden, we've brought boosters back into the picture. And I want our kids to make as much money as they can, but I want them to work for it and do it the right way, not just, like market it.
Pat, Amanda Gutsy, Johnstown Tribune. This doesn't have to do with NIL, but with
Good.
a guy like Servassier in the middle with your linebacker core being, very young, how much confidence does it give you in guys like Bengali and Solomon that they have not only someone in the middle, but someone that's also played all three positions?
Yeah, Servassier can play all three, so that's really what I feel comfortable with. It's nice to have him in the middle to make sure he's got everything under control and can tell everybody else what to do. But Bengali, we'll find out where we, as these game plans change. I think that's going to be the big thing. He's shown the ability to be a player for us, an athletic guy that makes plays. He's got to play within the system. Solomon DeShields, again, is another guy. Shane Simon, don't forget about him. I mean, so we have some guys. Tyler Welts, I'm looking forward to. We saw one day today, and looking forward to seeing the development that we have there. So there's a few guys out there. Buddy Mack is back at that star position. So we're going to find out. I think we got a lot of pieces to work with, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Come mid-August, late August with that group.
So Servassier moves outside. Who would be the first couple guys behind him in the middle?
Brandon George is one of them. Shane Simon can play in there. Shane's been able to play the money and the mic. Brandon George can do the same thing. So we'll just figure that out as we go. I mean, Coach Manlack is kind of rotating them in and just kind of saying, hey, play them all. And that's what you need to do with the young group is get them to play a lot of different positions, find out where they fit, what they can and can't do, and don't limit them to play one position because ultimately we're going to play the three best. When it comes down to who are the three best, okay, these are our three best guys, regardless of what position they play, and then put them where they need to be. And that'll be what we'll do come mid-August or when we start to get that group together.
Coach, Mike Drakovich, Pittsburgh Sports Nation. I feel that you have tremendous depth at running back. So how do you plan to utilize all the weapons that you do have with so many guys that would want the ball?
Yeah, Sebo's in camp as well. So we do have some guys back there that'll be interesting to watch how they progress. But we're looking for the consistent guy. And I think when you say you got three guys, and then Sebo comes in, you got four. It's like you want to look and see who is the guy that's going to be most consistent. I think at times those guys have been like a yo-yo where that guy had a great day and the next day the other guy has a good day. I'll go back to last year, 2021 spring, I came out and said that Vince Davis was our starter, going into spring ball. Coming out of spring ball, Mike Izzy's our starter. It's like, what the heck happened, Like, Vince, what did you do? Izzy stepped it up, and then, so it's back and forth, and I want to see a consistent guy. I mean, I didn't say that when James Conner was back there. We didn't say that when Quadri Olson was back there. We're looking for that guy that's going to take that position over, and it could be any four of those guys. Just looking for consistency, the guy that you can count on at all times, and then we'll see, see how that whole thing goes.
Pat, Steve Bronson with the Post-Gazette. Speaking of the run game, you've got the entire offensive line back in front of them. Do you feel like this could be one of the best lines you ever had and maybe one of the biggest strengths of the team this year?
I think so. We'll find out, we'll find out in December, I guess, right? If it is, I mean, nobody's going to, say that they're the best in August or September. So, I think they got talent. Okay, we got to go out there and execute. We got to, we've pass set it. We protected the quarterback at times, and now we're going to have to go run the ball a little bit more than we have in the past, and that's something that we're developing at, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, more complete. And I think they're excited about it. I think it's one of the reasons they came back is they wanted to run the ball a little bit more and show that they can run block, more than just in the, end of the fourth quarter.
You often talk about playing fast, especially on defense, just executing and moving. You got Brandon and Eric back for another year. where do you see them as your safeties helping, especially your secondary, play fast and get on their assignments while playing that aggressive style of football you like?
You know, a year ago, those two were the two babies back there, really getting the first start, and you didn't know if Eric was going to be the guy or not. Now he's proven he's the guy. You know, Brandon Hill. I mean, we have two mature leaders back there. You know, you see what they tweet this morning. I retweet their tweet. You know, my right-hand man or whatever it was with the hand up, and you know, they're confident. They're leaders, and you know. I just think it comes really down to the confidence they have back there right now. And they're going to be well coached, and they're going to know what to do, and they're going to be able to, you know, communicate and lead the rest of those guys back there at the corner position and the guys behind them.
Jason Mackey from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. As far as defending the ACC title and going back a little bit to the last year's stuff, do you prefer guys to sort of acknowledge there's a target on their back, or do you say maybe ignore that day to day, focus on what you're doing?
Yeah, you know, there's no target on our back, and we're not really defending it because it's not going anywhere. It's there. That trophy's not going to leave, you know, that area out there in the front of the building. The trophy's here. We're champions 2021, and it's over. So we're just starting a new one, and going after that trophy and going after the championship again. And again, you know, we're not going to, you know. We're going to be on the offensive. We're not going to be the hunted. We're going hunting ourselves, okay? And I think that's, like, we're not going to sit back and go, oh, gosh, man, you know, people are coming after us. No, we're going after them, and we're going after them harder than we did a year ago, and we're going to go after them in a different way. It's going to be a different attack, you know, offensively, defensively, and there'll be a different attack on special teams. So I think it'll be fun to watch, but, you know, we're not going to sit back and do the same thing we did last year and think that it's just going to happen again.
Pat, Don Capola from the Pitt News. You mentioned earlier you want your team to know who's going to be that player on the offense, quarterback, to lead the team. What do they need to do, in your eyes, to really let those guys know, hey, I'm the guy?
You know, I think, you know, the quarterback position is no different than the kicking position or the linebacker position. Let's not just focus on it. It's every position. You know, I could grab a couple guys and say, hey, who's the best Mike or who's the best left tackle? They know who it is. I mean, the left tackle, they're going to say it's Carter Warren. Okay, we all know. There's no competition there. The question would be who's the backup, you know? So I want our kids feeling confident who that guy is. They should be able to answer those questions. So it's going out and executing, it's leading, and it's you know, it's making plays. And, you know, the kids should see it on tape. Our players should watch it on videotape.
Is there anything they can do off the field to put themselves even further on that, or is it more on the field for you?
It's a little bit of both, but, you know, it's you know, who do the guys want to follow? That quarterback position, that middle linebacker position is such a critical one that people are looking, you know, to those guys to find out, are they going to help and make everybody else better? The offense is a little bit different than defense because now we're all no huddle. But back in the day, that quarterback of the defense, that linebacker, was in the huddle with 10 guys staring him in the face, and you know, you couldn't look like a little weasel back there. You better have some, you better have a little look to you, and you better have some leadership skills to make those guys believe in what you're doing. It's the same thing at the quarterback spot. So, we got to make that quarterback has got to make 11 guys on that team play. Those other 10 guys, he's got to get them going, and they got to play better for one or the other.
Jeff Hathorn, KDK Radio receiver. Do you feel like there's somebody that can step up and take a leadership role, and how do you feel about the depth of the
position? Yeah, leadership role. You know, I feel good about the depth. I feel, you know, we've got weapons out there. You know, Jared Wayne has been that leader this summer. He's been that guy. He's one of our Eagles in our leadership council. He's taken over that leadership role with those guys, and I feel good with the leader there. I feel good, obviously, you know, the main leaders, you know, Coach Underwood. But you know, I feel good with the leadership, and you know, we'll find out how that depth goes. I mean, got some new guys out there. I mean, Kanate's went through spring ball. He's not as seasoned as the rest of them, but like Bub Means is in camp and did some nice things today. He's a big athletic guy. He's had a great summer and doing things the way he's supposed to do it. So we're excited about him and watching to see if Jaden Bradley can come through and make a ton of plays and grow up and be mature and do things the way we want it to be done. I mean, all those things are stuff that we're going to look forward to.
Hey, you've had some really good defensive lines, especially the last few years, and not just in terms of production, but the pros you've produced. I mean, do you feel that you guys have sort of earned a reputation, maybe nationally, about that, maybe that specific thing being a strength, whereas other things tend to, like, you don't know who the quarterback's going to be this year, right? At least not yet. But you collage into those guys up there, I mean, you feel pretty good. I mean, do you feel like you guys have established an identity that, regardless of what all the other moving parts, that this part of this team is always going to be a strength?
Yeah, I don't think it's always going to be. You slack off and don't do a good job recruiting or coaching them and get banged up. But I feel good about the quarterback spot too. Look at really the two quarterbacks that have taken a majority of snaps in the last 7 years are Kenny Pickett and Nathan Peterman, who's still in the NFL with the Bears. You feel like we've kind of repeated there. We're going to continue to have wideouts, but I feel great with our D-line group. Those guys are play aggressive. They're well coached. The scheme plays in part to it. Coach Bates does an unbelievable job. And but I say this and I'll say it again. And I don't know if you guys believe me because you guys keep asking me the D-line. I got the same thing down media day. It takes 11, and we could have 4 Aaron Donalds there. But if the corners don't cover anybody, the ball comes out quick. They're running up the field, wasting their time. They might as well stand on the line of scrimmage and try to bat a ball down. I mean, it takes everybody doing their job, or the ball's coming out and it doesn't matter. You're not getting any pressure, and you're going to have a hard time stopping the run as well.
You've had a lot of the same names on special teams lately with Cal and Kirk, and those guys are gone. So what are you looking for there during camp?
Well, we got a kicking competition. Really, you could say we have a punting competition with our new punter. So I mean, all those guys are competing. Long snapper Byron's in there, and Finn's backing him up. So there's some spots. I mean, we've got Sam is back, so we got our kicker from a year ago. But Ben is also a guy that's shown he's got a chance, and so we're going to continue to evaluate those guys, and it's a little bit different. Like I said, we'll have a different attack this year, and some of the specialists are going to be critical. We know how important special teams are, and I think the thing I feel really good is the people around our kickers are seasoned. We've got a lot of specialists that are special on special teams, whether it's running down on the punt team, blocking on kickoff return, being a headhunter on the kickoff team. We've got a lot of those guys that have played football, and some young athletic guys that are going to help us as well.
Coach Corey Christen, DK Pittsburgh Sports. You talked about Tyler Welts coming into your linebacking room, FCS guy translated to this level. When you were recruiting him, what was the biggest thing that stood out that made you think he can make that jump?
Well, he looked smart on videotape. You never know, but then he was smart when he came on his visit. But he's athletic. He's a playmaker. He kind of fits in just like Shane Simon did. When you watch him on tape, you're like, man, we get him, and he fits into our scheme. I just like the way he has great instincts, and his ability to get to the ball, and he's got athletic ability. So I think that's going to be something we're going to find out what it looks like here, and I'm sure there's going to be some growing pains with it because he's going to a different system. But he's so smart. He's so willing. He's got a great personality, and he can take coaching. You can see that right away. I mean, he wants a tip every minute. He wants to coach. What it look like? What do I need to do? I mean, he's looking for coaching, and I love that.
When you go back and watch the film from the spring game, was Keaton the guy that you would come in and beat the quarterback in terms of what he brought to the table and how he performed in the game?
No question, he is what we thought he was. When we recruited him, he's everything and some. We think he's athletic. He's smart. He's got a great arm, and again, he does stuff different than Nick, and it's gonna be fun to watch those two compete. But no, we're excited to watch those two guys.
Having Damari, having you gone to the NFL, it seems like you have some freedom snaps at corner. Who's in the mix to fill in for what Damari left behind?
Yeah, A.J. Woods had a great spring. You got Marquez Williams. You have, let me look at my depth chart here. Someone to ask a good depth chart question. M.J. Devonshire has been outstanding. I would say the 3 guys at the starting position right now would be, M.J., Marquez, and A.J. Woods. But then, Rashad Battle's coming back. You got Javante Royal. This Ryland Gandy has been, he's been sharp. He looked good in the spring. We'll find out if he hits, the August wall, but he's really sharp and trustworthy. So you got Noah Bigelow. I mean, we've got some DBs that have athletic ability, and it's, if the light turns on, and we have some corners out there that can cover people, and they're big and they're athletic.
You mentioned Gandy. You mentioned Gandy as a freshman that was with the corners. I mean, are there any other freshmen you're kind of your eye on right now?
I'm looking forward to see what Steph Hall does. I think he's got some potential. Again, he's not a true freshman. He's a freshman though. Javan Mcintyre is another guy. I think is interesting on the offensive side of the ball. Nobody that can offhand say just as a freshman. I guess maybe the other guy's Ryan Baer. I mean, that guy's big and he's athletic, and so we'll see what happens there.
We're going to be transitioning to our team session, offensive coaches in a few minutes. Jerry, I know you had a question. We'll take you, Jerry. We'll take one more for Will, and then we'll wrap this session up. Jerry, go ahead.
Take another look at that. Jared?
Anybody gonna be limited this summer?
Is that an injury question?
I didn't say the word injury.
Nobody is limited except maybe me, right? My calf's a little tight.
What are you limited to?
You know, we are really, really healthy right now going into fall camp, so we want to keep it that way.
Pat, there's a good chance when these rankings come out here in a couple weeks, you can find yourselves at or near the top 10 or top 15 of these polls. I think you've been ranked going into the season before here, right? But do you think it's a good chance of the highest expectations have ever been going into the season for you here?
Yeah, not worried about it. Don't care. I want to know where we're ranked at the end of the year, you know, and how many wins we have in that win column. That's going to be the key. You know, those preseason rankings mean absolutely nothing. Go pull out your rankings from what it was last year at the beginning of the year and see what it looked like. I don't know does anybody ever do that, EJ? Look at their first rankings and find out what it looks like at the end and how wrong they were. So, you know, we can be in the top 10 and not be in the top 10. I'd like to see all your rankings. As a matter of fact, turn your rankings in from last year to EJ, and we'll let EJ do some work on them. I think we had one more up here.
Under 5 weeks to go. How important is
We only got it the first day. It's already the countdown. Under 5 weeks. Wow.
How important is it to the program, fan bases, and college football overall that you play historical rivals, and college football continues to have teams play their rivals, and West Virginia obviously is a rival that's Pitt and has had for forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of excitement. I mean, it's a little bit different than it opened up with somebody, you know, like New Hampshire or whatever it may be. There's excitement in Pittsburgh. The fans, every time I see a Pitt fan, I mean, that's all they talk about is that opener. So it's going to be electric. Game day will be there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and our kids feel it. They feel you. They feel the fans. I'm sure if I'm hearing it, they're hearing it wherever they go when they go out to dinner. So they're feeling it. I think it's exciting. I mean, it's college football, and again, the backyard brawl, whether it's in September or if it's in November, it doesn't matter when that game is. That's a big game, and you know, we're looking forward to embracing that rivalry and putting in a good game plan and getting our boys ready to go.
Pat, I just want to clarify something. When we were asking you about you know, NIL and stuff, you said I'd like to get boosters out of the equation. I mean, it's.
You asked me if I could put one rule in.
Okay, well, I mean, at the same time, you also, I mean, your position, the head coach position, is endowed here by a booster. All the stuff you have here is provided. A lot of this stuff is provided by fundraising. So how do you sort of, as a coach, how do you sort of walk that line? We're saying, hey,
I'm not saying get rid of boosters from our athletic department. Okay, so you know what you'll see throughout the country. I think now is a booster. Okay, is saying, do I give my money to the athletic department or do I give it to the collective? Okay. And I'm saying we should be giving our money to the athletic department and kind of, you know, eliminating that. And I think name, image, and likeness goes out to those companies that want to take care of your kids and you know, you're tweeting for them, you're working for them, you're doing community service for them, and you're making the money that way. I just think there needs to be some limits. And again, if we're going to get the boosters involved in, you know, in name, image, and likeness, which is great, then we just have to have some control on what they can do. And it's got to be pretty equal throughout the country. It can't be, you know, wide gaps or we're going to ruin college football.